Welcome back into the Viking Central podcast. I'm here, as always, with Austin Dowdle. How we doing, Austin?
Doing fantastic. Excited to talk about Sam Darnold.
Yes, sir. It's going to be the talker today and probably for the next few days,
Yeah.
leading up to free agency. It's been a lot of conflicting reports. Like Ian Rappaport just kind of said this morning, like they're not going to take Sam Darnold first and foremost, but they're going to look at still working out, certain details about maybe a contract, an extension, which I don't see it. What's kind of your opinion on where things are at with Sam Darnold and the Vikings?
I mean, Sam Darnold played very well. I liked what I saw with him, and he was very helpful with the JJ McCarthy development. He wore the camera in practice so JJ could see through his eyes, and they sat down and talked with each other. And I wouldn't hate having him back in the same sense. And he also people complain about the last two games of the year, but he's never been on a winning NFL team in a situation where meaningful football is being played. So that was a learning curve for him. So I think if we can get him on a cheaper end in like the 20-25 million range, I think it would be worth bringing him back to maybe help JJ in his development.
Yeah, I could definitely see that kind of a short-term contract extension. Because if JJ needs to sit, I think JJ's ready, but if he really needs to sit one more year, like it does make a little bit of sense. Obviously, they know more about JJ McCarthy and where he's at in the process. The thing is that it's really early in the offseason, so they're probably not making a decision on JJ McCarthy right now. They're going to know a lot more in the next 6 months where he's at. But if he gets paid that $20 to $25 million, like that's not super expensive for a quarterback. And if JJ is that much better in the offseason and in training camp in the preseason, I don't think they'd think that hard about starting him over Sam, even if he is getting paid $20 to $25 million for this year. They could probably make it where there's a situation where it's like they can get it out after 2025, where it only is. There'd be essentially a 2-year contract, but actually only a 1-year contract with limited dead money or whatever they want to do there. But yeah, I think that's a possibility. But I do think his market is going to be a little bit more than what Minnesota wants to give him. Like the Raiders, the Titans, someone's going to give him, I believe, $30 million a year on like a 3-year contract. Maybe I'm wrong, but what do you think like the rest of the league looks at when it comes to Sam Darnold?
Well, it's like it's kind of. I think they're gonna view it as well, like what I was saying in terms of he never had played in any meaningful
Yeah.
football. So I think you just have to take those last two games away and look at what he did when you put him in offensive minded system like he was in, where
Mm-hmm.
you focus on him and you make the smart plays. And then I think even if you give him a good running game, I think
Yeah,
like the Vikings gave him, it's gonna help him out tremendously. So yeah.
for sure.
I think 30 million is a little light. I think he might get closer to like 37, 38 million towards that range.
Yep.
And like we were saying before the show, I think with how his career started and having one good year, you
Mm-hmm.
almost have to go and get as much money as possible because who knows if you're gonna play like that again.
Agreed.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see what he
that's
thinks.
yeah, that's a great point. Got to get your bag while you can. And those last 2 games really, like if he played really well, you don't even have to win the playoff game, but at least be competitive and play decent football. I think his market's way higher because playoff football does matter. And I think the possibility of him coming back to Minnesota would have been way higher. So you do, at the same time, you do want to kind of throw those last 2 games out, but they're still always in the back of your mind, I think, because especially in that Detroit game, he missed so many passes. Like we should have had like 3 or 4 touchdowns in the first half alone, just like airmailing passes over wide receivers' heads, and it kind of took you back to his Jets days a little bit. But Kevin O'Connell is able to iron those out pretty much, you know, 90% of the season. So if you can continue to build on that, I could kind of see where you could bring him back on a 1-2 year contract. But I know how much this organization loves JJ McCarthy. But also the big talk, especially on social media, is like, how are you not getting any compensation for a guy that just put up 35 touchdowns? Like, how are you not able tag and trade this guy. Sam Bradford got tagged, like Devontae Adams got tagged and trade. I know it's always different situations, and I know those guys had a little bit more of like a background of really good football, where this guy only has like I said, like 90% of a season of good football. So it's kind of interesting to look at. Like, yeah, you probably should get something from him, but we don't know what the market is. In your opinion, should they got like a second or third round pick for him, or are you kind of on Quayce's side where maybe the market's not that hot, or they just want him to test free agency?
I think that they should have at least tried it. I mean,
Yeah.
The Giants are going to be absolutely desperate with, especially they for some reason are holding on to Dable for I don't know why, but so that that they're in like we need to win now mode. So like teams like that, and then even like like you said, the Raiders are going to be. I think they like what they see in Sam Darnold. So it's going to be interesting because I think Sam Darnold is the best free agent quarterback out there. Maybe Russell Wilson if you're trying to win now, but
Yeah.
I would still probably go with Sam Darnold. So you have to think that there's got to be a trade market out there for him. So maybe they're doing it out of respect for Sam Darnold, but I don't know because I feel like we got to do what's best on our end. I don't know what the deal is with that.
Right. And like you said, you probably think he's like maybe going to get paid like $37-38 million a year.
Yeah.
And this is a day and age where quarterbacks are getting paid $50-60 million. So that seems like a lot of money, but it's like middle of the echelon kind of type contract for a quarterback. And that's probably where Sam belongs. He proved it last year. If he's got weapons, he can be a good quarterback. And like you said, the Giants are going to be desperate. The Raiders are going to be desperate. Tennessee has the first pick, so they're not necessarily desperate. And they still got Will Levis, where I think that's a disaster in my opinion. But that's we're not Tennessee Titans people, but there's teams out there that could use Sam Darnold. So I don't know if they just miscalculated where they haven't been able to put kind of teams in a bidding war for him at all. But at the same time, yeah, do they really want to do right by Sam? I could see this front office kind of being that way. But at the end of the day, we only have 4 draft picks. This was your time to like get a draft pick or two just to kind of round out your draft a little more. But I don't know. I think Chip Kelly and Las Vegas would be a really good fit for Sam. Just kind of spread the football around a little bit. They don't have a lot of weapons, but I feel like he could be pretty good there.
Yeah, I agree. The only problem with Chip Kelly is that he might play a little too fast for Sam Darnold's play style. But I mean, I think that obviously, as we saw in Ohio State, Chip Kelly is kind of evolved and he's able to work around his quarterbacks. Like he did really well with Will Howard. So I mean,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Will Howard looked great under Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, it could be like, Sam, we're going to ask you to play fast. It might be too much on his plate, but at the same time, like then he won't have time to like think about everything. Just go play.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he would do there. But yeah, the New York Giants one makes the most sense. But I feel like in the back of Sam's head, like, do I want to go back to New York? That's like the big thing for me, because that one does make probably the most sense. Like pair him up with Malik Neighbors, I think they would.
Oh yeah,
they'd be great. But
when their organization's been a dumpster fire, I don't know if he would wants to deal with that. But
that's very true.
You bring up a good point with Tennessee as well, because I don't think they're going quarterback with the first pick.
Yeah, I think the talk around the combine, I think one of the Titans reporters reported this morning that they're going to trade out of the first and get a boatload of money for either someone who wants Cam Ward or someone who wants Travis Hunter, or not boatload of money, boatload of capital. For someone who wants Cam Ward or Travis Hunter. And if you're going to do that, just sign Sam to a 2-year deal or 3-year deal and then fill out that roster. So, yeah, there's options. Minnesota just hasn't been able to, make it work for a take and trade, which I think is a missed opportunity. But that's kind of where we're at. The deadline's at 3. I'll probably be posting this right at the deadline, essentially. If something changes there, I guess we can disregard all this talk. But we only got about 4.5 hours until then. Free agency is coming up next week. We're going to be spitting out content here for the next few days, and kind of just truck away at that. Anything else you wanted to add, Austin?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Going to be interesting to see what the Minnesota does. We're essentially going to find out who our quarterback is for 2025 in the next, for sure, week or so, which is pretty exciting. So Sam Darnold, JJ McCarthy, are they going to sign another bridge quarterback?
Daniel Jones.
That's my most realistic one, but it's not. There's another report where Indianapolis was looking at Daniel Jones to compete with Anthony Richardson. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that, yeah.
Which is kind of interesting, but at the same time, I think Daniel Jones would be fine coming back to Minnesota.
Yeah, that is a funny one.
Yeah, just to see what Sam did, and they'll probably still call it an open competition between him and McCarthy. If McCarthy stays healthy, he's going to win the job, but either way.
Or Aaron Rodgers on the Brett Favre same route, Jets to the Vikings.
Oh, boy. If I see that on Monday, Aaron Rodgers signs with the Minnesota Vikings on a 1-year, $15 million deal. Oh man, we're hopping on and we're gonna have some whiskey or something. But that would be pretty insane. I don't know where Rodgers is gonna end up. Maybe New York, maybe the Giants. But
I think that's the most realistic one for him too. Yeah.
Be a great spot for him. Dumpster fire organization. Just, I don't know. Man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I feel like Daniel Jones will be the bridge backup guy for McCarthy. Because even at the end of the day, you can tell Daniel Jones it's going to be a competition. If he loses the competition, could the Vikings say there's an injury or something in the preseason? The Vikings could move him for maybe a late round draft pick that year or at the end of the offseason, which I think would be really good. Just to keep your options open and everything like that. But a lot of quarterback talk, going to be a lot of moving parts here in the coming days. I'm Brett. That's Austin. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys the next one.